Are y'all ready for some sports?
We trying, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time, the real time. Time for Victor Allen's Noodle Sports. Brought to you, written and directed by the bald-headed black man. Rub his head, make a wish. The ladies have nicknamed him Sexual Chocolate. We hope you have dressed appropriately. Jock straps and sports bras. Ladies and gentlemen, line up. Yeah! Sports! Yeah!
A lot of hollering, brother. It's a lot of hollering. I like that, though, man. That means you have a voice, right?
Yes.
I don't know. Let me just think. All right, hey, check it out, man. Look. Usually I keep certain things out of sports because, like you said, man, the news is full of the same old. It's like death, destruction, be scared, be afraid, be very afraid. So what I'm going to do is just kind of let you guys know that the first thing that was more important to me is checking out exactly how the relationship between sports and the event that happened in Charlottesville. And instead of sitting back going to the same old bully pulpit, I just wanted to sit back and say, were there any voices of those concerned about what happened? And actually just pay a reference to them, because typically this is repeating itself. This is kind of reminding me of what happened with Muhammad Ali back in the day, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. All of them at that time had to take a stance. And sometimes when things get inflated a certain way, you do need those voices that people look for leadership. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't pay attention to regular folk like myself or many others who are not what they call cream of the crop celebrities or jocks. So what I wanted to do was just kind of let you know some of the things that people said as it relates to those particular individuals across the landscape. And I said this in talking with somebody the other day. I said, it's one of the rare times you get to find out that there's going to be a spectrum of voices coming across as it relates to their opinions of what happened in Charlottesville, which is such a sad event. I really wanted to go into the tweets and some of the mentions that were said in relationship to opinions, because I do believe just quoting what they said is our moment of reflecting that there are people who are not necessarily of my persuasion and color who have an opinion. Okay. So you do hear about Seattle Seahawks defensive lineman Michael Bennett. He always has a stance. You don't have to even look for that. He's going to have a stance. LeBron James also has a stance. But I want to read some of the tweets and some of the mentions they had.
You want me to scroll that or just
keep
it on this picture?
You know what? You can keep it on the picture or scroll. It's up to you.
Because I can't. There's nothing show as good on.
Yeah, it's not as good. But for you guys to know.
See it, you guys.
Yeah, if they're watching and going to the page, they'll actually see it. But I'm going to read it off for them. And it's more important. LeBron James said, it's sad what's going on in Charlottesville. Is this the direction of our country that is heading? Make America great again. He said that, referring to Trump. Okay, that's expected because LeBron is timely with what he says. Also, Enes Kanter, OKC. You know how he rolls. And he is from Turkey, whose family has dealt with the government corruption, has sent out some tweets as well. And his comment was more or less, your silence normalizes Nazis. Doesn't it also make you one? And what he's saying is there are a lot of people who are just sitting up there on average who are basically saying, hey, it ain't me. I'll just be silent. But everybody has to step up. And they're taking their voices there to do that. Also, Chris Long, who grew up and went to college in University of Virginia. And if you don't know Chris Long, NFL football player, son of Howie Long, he said, listen, some people are tired of hearing me tweet because they want me to stick to football. But I like to use social media like I was a regular guy because I think I am. I don't tell people to stick to whatever their job is when they want to talk politics. And this isn't political. That's the thing. Everybody wants to turn this political. This isn't a political issue. This is a right and wrong. I believe you either on one side or the other. For me, being from Charlottesville, nobody wants you to sit idly by and not say anything. And I wish there was more categorical denials from some very important people in this country who have had the opportunity to strike it down and didn't. Now, He's not looking for the voices that's coming from the political platform, because every time they speak, it's really them speaking against the other side. It's either Republican against a Democrat, Democrat against Republican. He's just talking about people in general who have a name in the community. Step up, because this is, I'm telling you, you will look back on this and wish you said you had a voice. In addition to, the Detroit Red Wings had to vehemently disagree with and are not associated in any way with the event taking place in Charlottesville, Virginia. The Red Wings believe that hockey is for everyone, and we celebrate the great diversity of our fan base and our nation. We are exploring very possible legal action as it pertains to the misuse of our logo in this disturbing demonstration. The irony of this is, you go look out at the crowd and think about all the shirts that alt-right is wearing, and they are wearing and displaying stuff as sports fans. So imagine you see your Detroit Red Wings out there, the shirt. They have to go ahead and go, stop. We're not supporting this whatsoever. So you see a company, organization trying to get ahead of it, and I understand why.
I understand too. They had a Pax Stereo had all the craziness.
What would you be doing, man?
Wow.
You'd be done. You'd be done. Okay, I can go on and on. There's a couple of more, even Jeremy Lin. There's a host of tweets where most of these tweets I'm reading from are not of African-American persuasion. It's important to have free speech. This is Sean Doolittle. We have a patriotic obligation to condemn racism and domestic terrorism by white supremacists. The reason why I had to reflect on these is because this is one of those times where you actually watch an event where there was mostly white against white. It really put in perspective of that. If this group is going against the philosophy, period, whether you're white, black, or anything, this alt-right or Nazi group or supremacists are going against anyone, which I know that they're stuck in a time zone. So you know what this is. So I wanted to give my respect to those who are speaking up, and I wish more could do it and should do it, because there is a place here. And now it leads me to the next segment. And is there a correlation now? Does his voice speak even louder? Colin Kaepernick. Does Colin's voice relate to Charlottesville? They were actually talking about this today. They said, well, it's a separate thing. You know, it's the flag. It's the flag. I said, that's a piece of parchment and a stick. I understand the value of it. But does his voice now resonate even more? Because he's not an all-time winning quarterback. He is not the top 5, top 10, but his voice is just as powerful. Do you see a relationship with this, Mario, or is it a total separate issue?
No, I think it's related in the sense that all these types of things are related because they're related to our views on race,
right,
in this country,
right,
and the fact that what makes it seem like you're hearing it more is because now, for the first time, it's actually politically correct to talk about it. It's always been there in greater degrees, but America will refuse to talk about it. It's just now, because some Americans are willing to talk about it, you're having a discourse.
Yeah, right. And it's interesting that we're looking at this period right now where you go like, wow, how much, it's almost like they're saying this. Will there be an owner because of what has happened who will step up and say, I'm going to take the lead on this. I'm going to sign Colin Kaepernick. Will they follow this only because they saw what happened in Charlotte and say, oh, my God?
Well, Marshawn Lynch sat down in Oakland, right?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he sat down, which I expect him to do. But this is the one I'm waiting for. Is there an NFL owner above the fray who's going, I'm sorry, Colin has to equate to profit? Is there an owner who doesn't need as much money forever in a day because they're all billionaires to say, look, let me take a stance on something much bigger? Do you think he will get signed as a launching point because of Charlottesville, what's happened? Or will they say, oh, no, this is even more reason to stay away because it will be even more of a lightning rod if we do sign Colin?
There's even more reason to stay away. They'll use it to justify that.
Wow. Wow. And it's the sad part. I think the challenge is I'm looking forward to seeing him get signed. I think he will get signed. It just, you can't even hang your hat on him after what has happened in Charlottesville.
I wouldn't even mind him going to Canadian football.